26-year-old man accused of raping and killing a 7-year-old girl has been postponed to the 3rd of September. He's been remanded in custody. Reporter Dasen Thathiah was at the Verulam Magistrate's Court tracking that story and joins us now from our studios in Durban. And so, Dasen, last time we spoke, it was during one of these breaks in the court proceedings, and the person who was testifying, I presume, is the investigating officer. What then transpired that led to the case being postponed, such a lengthy postponement?
That's right, Tulas. In fact, it was the investigating officer, Captain Emmanuel Zulu. Now, he's with the FCS unit of SAPS, and it was quite a long testimony. He spent the better part of the day on the stand. So when we returned to court, that was when it was the cross-examination that took place. And in fact, it is going to be a long postponement. The case will only come back on the 3rd of September for arguments, and hopefully at that point as well there will be some kind of ruling that's made. But in essence here, Tulas, you know, the version of the accused is that he was not there at the time that this little girl was raped and murdered. In his affidavit, which was read to the court, he says that he had been with a friend and he was told by his common law wife that he needed to get something from the local supermarket. And he'd gone to the supermarket, taken money out, and returned to his home to find that it had been ransacked. And that was when he called the police. And when the police did eventually come through, now remember, he was calling them thinking that they would be responding to a break-in. And he says that when they did come through, it was then that they broke down his door and arrested him. Also some accusations being made by the accused here, saying that police stole some money, stole bank cards, and he was taken in. Now, his attorney insists that he is not a flight risk. He doesn't have any travel documents. He's employed full-time at a call center. He has family ties. His family is in and around this area, so he has somewhere to go to. That address can be verified as well. But the state is opposing bail, as I mentioned earlier, and they're saying that they have witnesses who claim that this 26-year-old man lured the little girl into his home on that day, on the 28th of July, towards the end of last month. And that was where he allegedly raped her and then attacked her. And this was, I think, the most disturbing part, is that the state is alleging that after that attack, he then carried and dragged the little girl out and left her outside the flat. And at that point, she was still alive, but very badly beaten, and she passed away a little while later.
Yeah, talk to us very briefly then, Dasen, about the community interest in all of this, because we did see community members, as happened previously, coming out to picket outside this court appearance.
Lots of community members, in fact. There were 2 buses that had come through with these members from the area, but also political parties joining the fray here. We saw many people wearing their party colors outside the court. Now, not all of them got into the courthouse, but for those that were in there, it's quite a small court that we were in today, they were, you know, they made their dissatisfaction known when certain parts of the testimony were made, and there was a lot of groaning and sometimes people just reacting with just outrage in that court as they were hearing things that they didn't want to hear. But what else came out about that fact, about the community outrage to us, was that the state was saying, and in particular the investigating officer was saying, that after the attack he had been interacting with community members there. Now, what this has done, this incident, the rape and murder, is that it seems to have caused some kind of racial split within that community. And he says that those families that he had spoke to, these Indian families that he had spoken to there at the time, had said that they were now being threatened and being asked to move out of the area as a result of what happened. And obviously he was saying that that is not acceptable, because it seems like the situation now, even though the accused is in court and will have to face these charges, it seems like the situation back there at that community where he comes from is still very much a problem.
All right, Dasen Thathiah, thank you so much for that update. That's ENCA's Dasen Thathiah, keeping an eye on that court appearance that happened a bit earlier on today. It's now been postponed to the 3rd of September, I think it is. Dasen giving us those details there.